This is an overview video of goal boards within Thrive. And so we're going to take a look at where those are. So within Thrive, if you go into the Sandwich menu and you go to continuous improvement, you will see goal boards. And we're just going to kick one off so that you can get an idea for how goal boards function and some of the details you might say within it. So we'll go ahead and open one up, and we're going to kick off a new goal board. When you start a goal board, you're going to tell it some information. And just like other areas of Thrive, you'd hide fields and turn on fields and whatever it is that you're trying to capture the data for. So in this case, we might pick a department that we're doing. So maybe it's an assembly and it's a paint line, for instance. The rest of this, we're going to leave blank. You can, like I said, calculate it how you wish. We're also going to leave it in flexible mode. If we run a fixed schedule where we know we have a goal every day we want to hit or a rate we want to hit, you can also pick those options. But we'll look at this today in flexible mode. And we're going to start actually in setup just to give you an idea of how that works. And you can tie in to here a job number, a part number. Some companies will scan this in with a barcode scanner. Other companies, we directly connect to their ERP system through SQL behind the scenes. So there's a lot of ways that you can get this started. But you'd enter in that information if you want to tie it to a part. So in this case, I'll just pick one out of here. And we'll enter a production rate. So we're looking at units per hour. You can look at it in a variety of ways. I'm going to change it to units per minute and say that we're going to do 2 units every minute. And I want a 1-minute startup time. And we're not going to have any scheduled maintenance. So I'm going to kick off my goal board for the day. And so this is now what the operator is going to see. So from a visual standpoint, this would be at your work cell or your workstation or your piece of equipment. There's a lot of variety of ways that we can do this, and what we do is work with you to find out what your process is and how it best fits your process. But it's super flexible. It can hook up to counters. We can set up devices for it to count or to capture downtime. Or other people will just have it where you hit the space bar or enter key. But in this case, you can see our time's counting down. We're a minute into our setup mode. We're getting ready for our day. And we're just going to say we're ready. So we're ready to get started. So it can switch. There's keyboard functions, and there's also, or I can click on the mouse. So in this case, I'm going to click run. And we went into run mode. You can see based upon the times we set, whether they were pulling out of our ERP or we entered them in. In this case, it's a 30-second cycle time, and it's counting away. You can control this board to turn colors yellow or red at different times, and we have some stuff set up right now, but it's all controlled by you on what fits your process. So in this case, you can see times are going, and I'm building something, and I'm 30 seconds into it, and now it went yellow when it's just about over, and now you can see as a day we're completely over. So we're one behind for the day, and now if I produce something, I can use a space bar or the return button, like I said, and that counts. So that's how the goal board is going to work and going to function throughout the day. While you're on the goal board, you can set up maintenance if there was, this is where at the beginning we choose nothing. We chose no planned maintenance. But if we wanted to, it could be on there. We can count scrap throughout the day, and you can do it in detail, or you can do it just a count. So if I just want to know how many times did I scrap something, otherwise, you can make it where every time I hit this button, it actually brings up a form and I put a reason code with it. So you have a couple options depending on how much you want your operator tracking or what your goals are. Other areas, you can have downtime. So if we're running along and producing and I have an issue, I can start downtime. And this is where you can load whatever your reason codes are that you want to track for downtime. And you'll see over here the most commonly used ones. But you would pick and choose. So if I think this is what I want, I can use this one. I can say that's my reason code, material no parts. I can hit save. And at this point, you'll see from a visual standpoint that the line's down and I'm waiting on parts. So this is where the operator would see and the shop floor would be visible, whether again it's on this work cell or it's a big monitor. When they get their parts and they're ready to get going again, they'd hit end downtime. And it's just going to ask you, is this still the same reason? If so, you can see behind the scenes it's captured how much downtime and how many units it lost due to it. And all of this matters because as the operator's interfacing and building products, what's happening behind the scenes is it's capturing their cycle time and actual versus goals and giving you real-time reports of how your shop floor is running. The other thing you can do is just capture an issue. So if you don't want to actually go into downtime mode, and I just at the end of the day want to make a note that said this has been a pain, we should improve this part of the process, you can just capture notes, and those have pick lists too. I'll click on it so you can take a look. It's codes that you can enter in, or you can just freeform a note. The other thing you can do is andon lights. So these you set up, you time into your business again, but they will text somebody. So you can have it text the fork truck driver or water spider. So if I need something, I might, let's use water spider as an example. I can turn on my andon light. And at this point, I can type additional note, or I can just do nothing. In this case, I'll do nothing. But you'll see that it showed up on my board that the water spider has been notified, and it has sent them a text saying whatever was in that cell. What you'll notice is this is what the operator is seeing. But if I'm in anywhere, if I'm in an office, if wherever I am that I'm looking at Thrive, so which it's all web-based, so you basically have an app to every form. But from this point, I can see every production line that's running in my company. So if I'm using this on 10 or 20 or 60 lines, I can get a visual of where everybody's at, what mode they're in, where they're at versus where they're supposed to be for the day. And I can see right now that this person has notified the water spider. So it gives me a good visual from a leadership standpoint, and it also gives me a visual from the shop floor user standpoint. So we're going to go ahead and turn off our water spider. We got our parts and we're running. You can see we're behind a little bit for the day, but we're on pace for our current cycle. So if you have long lead time cycles, you can get a better idea of what's going on. A couple other areas that you're going to notice on here, it's showing me what part I'm running at the present moment. So it's also looking at how efficient am I by each part. So if you load parts into that main screen, I now can build efficiency graphs based upon production efficiency rates by part number if I want, or on a job number. It also ties into documentation within Thrive. So if I have a work instruction or a quality audit or something that I'm doing at this operation, I can tie it to this work cell so that I can click on here and see whatever that document is. So if it's a work instruction, I can open it up and view it right from my screen. Thrive is web-based and it's across all platforms. So in your Wi-Fi plant, this is available. If you want to do it on a tablet or on a cell phone or whatever, it's also available for that. Within the options button, you can control a lot of different things. You can show different graphs. You can have more hour by hour view if you're used to that. You can turn on and off things. So in this case, we're not using maintenance. So let's go ahead and turn maintenance off so you can see that it just makes your screen cleaner. If I want to change production or edit production, there's a drop down here that allows me to quickly change production. I can say the shift's ended, or if I'm done, operators changed, or if I'm done for the day, I just end my goal board, and then that shuts off my goal board for the day. So this is an overview of Thrive's goal board system. There's a lot of different details, and there'll be some other videos that can show you how to do some setup things. But this will give you an idea of how the goal boards work in Thrive.